What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fit for Life podcast. We've got a very exciting one today. So how's it going, Brooks? I see you over there.
It's good. Snow day. We got a bunch of snow last night. It's Izzy's first official snow day, so we're recording early because I'm on dad daycare today, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's fun to have them home all day, and then it's also like, oh shit, I gotta entertain them all day now.
Yeah, dude. Which we talked earlier this week. She's got her modified crawling going on.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Which I'm stoked for her because watching her just like see things across the room and just be able to do nothing about it was like,
yeah.
So I'm excited for her, but definitely gonna be on alert.
Is she like doing like the back and forth kind of like trying to like get the motor going, but like, and then like getting like one knee forward?
Yeah, so for like the last 2 to 3 weeks, it was like this. She would bring one knee up, but she like didn't have enough weight, so it would just flip her over onto her back. And then so now she basically, it was yesterday, like the first one. There's this cloth that she's obsessed with for some reason, and it's like a Thanksgiving cloth, and it was like, I think if it was 10 feet away, she wouldn't have even tried, but it was like 6 inches from where she could reach to, and she just, slid with one side, but she's using just one side, so it's not like a back and forth. It's just like this reach with the left, reach again with the left.
Dude, it's
cool.
the craziest. It's the craziest thing because they go, like, you see them do something like that, and then you're like, how did they get to the next step, though? And then it's like, all of a sudden, they're just
so natural.
Now they're just crawling. And now,
yeah.
It was like what you're describing is, it also blurs now, but like a month ago, 2 months ago, when Mila crawled for the first time, I guess it was like right around when we went to dinner for Jade's birthday. But like she had her first actually crawled 4 steps because her parents were here and we were going to dinner, and then we're like, oh yeah, she's almost crawling, and then she kept doing her thing, rocking back and forth. She would she would just get up on all fours and just rock back and forth she's about to do it.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and then she did. She took 3 steps because I was everybody was surrounding her, and I was like, oh my god, she just crawled. And then now, fast forward a month later, she's literally in her crib last night. We put her down, we leave the room, we turn the monitor on, and she's just sitting there and literally pulls herself up on the railing and is standing up at the railing, just crying, just being like, where is everybody?
That's awesome.
And we're staring at her, and we're just down the hall before we go downstairs because we're like, oh god, please just lay back down, just lay back down. And then she starts reaching one leg up to try to and we run back in there. We're like, oh my god.
Are you able to because we still have the insert in.
We have to lower it this weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we already lowered it down to the second one. I'm like, we're just taking that thing all the way down because now she's this morning, literally she wakes up and just when I walk in there, she's just in the corner of the crib, just standing over it like this, just
hello?
kind of crying. I'm like, she just looks like a dude, just hey, please, somebody help me.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you're about to have a lot of fun because now she's gonna be just chasing you around the living room all the time, and
I'm stoked.
All of a sudden, you just have to keep an eye on them at all times.
Yeah. Dude, I saw. I mean, on that note of this morning, her being in the corner, hello. I've seen. Have you seen those reels of some people put a gate and put a bed basically on the ground, so that when they get up, they can just start playing around or do whatever. Looks kind of cool.
Wait, say that you cut out. They start playing.
Oh, so instead of a crib, it's literally a bed, or a mattress or whatever, mattress in quotes, on the ground, and then it's like a gate, but not up to the mattress. So there's like a few
Oh,
feet on all sides of the bed, or two sides of the bed, and it's in the corner. And then there's like
interesting.
toys in there. So like if they wake up from their nap or wake up in the morning and you're not up yet or whatever,
Yeah,
instead of just like standing in the corner, they can just start playing or whatever,
that's interesting.
which looks cool.
Yeah, the only question I have around that is like how does it impact them falling asleep? Because if Mila's on the mattress, there's just toys laying all around her. She's just gonna like roll off the mattress and be like, "Yeah, I'm just doing this for the next."
You you come in the morning. There's like 4 Mountain Dew cans empty around her. She's just playing and
An
wired.
Xbox
Like,
headset is on the
where did you
ground.
get these? Flaming hot Cheeto bag. Oh, good times.
All right, let's dive in. So today we're gonna chat through. The title is 9 reasons that you are not toned, right, or something like that. But really, ultimately, it's about many people work out a lot. They try to eat healthy. They do all these things, and they see all these diets. They go to boot camps, right? Like there's a ton of stuff that's great for overall health. But then they're like, why don't I like? I don't feel like I look fit. Like I like more muscle definition, more, people say toned, like, and I think people get really upset about that word in the fitness industry because it's not a real word. And it's, so, but we understand what people are saying, right?
Yeah.
Like they want to look more defined,
Yeah.
more fit.
Yes.
And so what we're going to talk about today is the nine biggest things that we think when we work with most clients, that are usually preventing you from doing that. And it's certainly possible. And honestly, I hope when you hear these things, it actually feels more attainable and more doable
Yeah.
than you probably even think. Because it's not about training 5 days a week, doing 2-a-days, and having this perfect, hit protocol or anything like that. So, do you want to dive in?
Yeah. One caveat before we dive in is I think it's important to understand you probably need more muscle than you think you do
Yeah.
to look toned. Like that is the driving force of being able to look toned, and that's like a long term game. Whereas fat loss can be like you can lose quite a bit of fat in a month or 2 months or 3 months. You cannot gain a shit ton of muscle in a month or 2 months or 3 months. So a lot of these are going to really focus on, hey, we need to build some muscle here, but we all are also going to address the fat loss piece as well to show off that muscle. But it just takes some muscle mass to
Yeah.
to get that look you want, really.
Which that's a great point because it's when someone says the word toned, all that really means is that you've built enough muscle and you've lost enough body fat to see it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
Yeah.
there is nothing else. There is no when you hear people say like, "Oh, I want to build lean muscle versus bulky muscle." There's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's all muscle is muscle. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you do a million, burpees or like the muscle you build is the muscle you build, no
Yeah.
matter how you do it. So the goal is to simply build more muscle to actually be able to see it. Cause that's, and I think the biggest thing people say like, well, I don't want to look bulky, right? I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. And so what we're going to talk about is like how to build that muscle. Now, if you wanted to get bulky, you'd have to do this. And then you would also have to eat like a sumo wrestler for the next 10 years while you're
Yeah.
lifting insanely consistently heavy. Like to be able to get bulky is a remarkable achievement. Like it is not something that you're going to do on accident. And there's a huge genetic component for the vast majority of people. When you build muscle, you're just going to look more fit, more
Yeah.
defined, more toned, whatever you want to call it. And I think the biggest eye opener for me was like when you think about muscle is 25% more dense than fat on average. meaning it physically takes up less space. It's more compact. So it's not like a pound of muscle weighs less than a pound of fat. That doesn't make any sense. But if you were to take someone who's 150 pounds and you were to trade out 10 pounds of body fat for 10 pounds of muscle, they would look smaller. They would not look bulkier. They would look leaner because it would physically take up less space in their body. Mm-hmm. And so that I think is an important distinction, because it's like you can't accidentally look bulky. What we're going to talk about today is building muscle, and it's also the exact formula you would need to look quote unquote toned.
Yeah. And if you have that experience in your past where it's like, oh, I was lifting weights or building muscle or getting stronger, and I feel like it just made me look bulky, that to me, pretty much every time, tells me that there wasn't enough attention paid to your nutrition and you gained weight, and it wasn't the muscle mass that made you look bulky, quote unquote. You were gaining fat mass. Mm-hmm. So independent of weight gain, if, like you just said, if you build muscle, you will look smaller because it's denser. But where, quote unquote bulky comes in is if you're gaining excessive fat mass, which is not required to build muscle. So, and that's what we're going to focus on here. So, number one, you're just not keeping your workouts structured week over week to progress them. You need
I'm happy you had this as number one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most common thing we see, right? Like, it's like I'm lifting weights. Well, just because you have a weight in your hand during a workout doesn't mean it's necessarily optimizing to build muscle. So it's got to be, I hate to say this word, but in a way, it's got to be a little bit boring as far as exercise selection goes. I mean, I guess that it's in your interpretation of it, but like you got to keep it structured week over week and progress movements.
Yeah, there's to like, without bringing like a crazy amount of science lessons in here, I think like the important thing to understand for what drives muscle growth is kind of like the overall underlying principle is progressive overload, right? Like we need to be able to increase the demand on our body over time, because when we lift heavier, our body goes, oh shit, that was hard. If we're going to do that again, like I need to make sure I have resources next time. Right. Yeah. And so it builds muscle, it builds strength, it gets ready to be able to do that again. And so the only way we keep doing that is to continue to increase the demand. And we can't do that when everything is just random. Right. And so what we're saying by this is having a program where you are tracking your reps, tracking your weight, how much you're lifting, right? And increasing that on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be every single week. It doesn't have to be linear or anything like that. It doesn't mean that you have to be under a barbell putting up 300 pounds. Like if you were literally, if at the end of the day, if a 20-pound dumbbell doing something feels hard for a set, great. Now, can you do a couple more reps of that same 20-pound dumbbell the next week? Yeah. And then can you eventually take that up to a 25-pound dumbbell, right? And if you're doing that over and over and over again, you will build muscle. Like there's no doubt about that. That's very hard to do when you don't have a structure, right? And I remember this when I would come into the gym for years. Like I would just go and be like, I think I'm going to do like chest and, like every guy, like I just want to do chest and arms today. And then I would just like go down and just like put on whatever feels, kind of like, let's just put on another plate today. And then I would always put on way too much because didn't want to look weak. So then I would get hurt and then had to start over. But outside of that, like, I think a lot of people do, like YouTube videos, Peloton Strength is one, which like I think are all great ways to get introduced to dumbbells, introduced to weights, and like start learning some basic movements in the form of them. But the question is like over time, over the next months, years, do you have a structure that allows you to predictably increase over time?
Yeah, that last note is so important because you will see progress at the beginning no matter what you're doing. Like if you at the very beginning, because there's been no demand on your muscle mass, you'll see improvement. And I think that's what gets people trapped sometimes because it's like, oh, I started going to Orange Theory and like I did get some weightlifting in and I started building muscle. It's like, yeah, a lot of things can work in the short term, but that very, very quickly changes. And you need that continual slight higher demand over time. And that is just very hard to recreate without tracking it directly, just like your nutrition. It's a fine line. And it's going to be a lot more predictable and sustainable if it's a small increase every single week compared to like trying to just like, throw as much weight up as possible and risk injury and risk inconsistency and all those things. So you highlighted something in there that brings us into number 2, which is your intensity. And you said if you have a 20-pound dumbbell and it's hard or somewhat challenging, you're in a good spot. And what we see is, there used to be a lot around like low reps, high weight is for bulk, and high reps, low weight is for toning. The only thing that, and we covered this at the beginning, the main thing your weights are doing for you is building muscle mass when it comes to body composition. And it turns out with the research that anything between 4 or 5 reps or 30 reps can effectively build muscle if there's one thing going on outside of the progressive overload conversation, and that's, are you getting close to failure? Meaning your muscle is being challenged. It's the last, what would you say, the last 3 reps we want to be within, meaning at the end of your set, if you get 10 reps done, you couldn't have done more than 11, 12, or 13 before you literally weren't able to get the rep done with good form.
Yeah. There's a whole theory around what we call effective hard reps, meaning those last few reps before failure is when because the more reps you're doing, the closer you're getting to failure, the more muscle fibers you're recruiting. And when you're getting to that point, like it's almost like all the reps leading up to it are kind of just like getting you to the effective hard reps.
Yeah.
And if we're not getting those effective hard reps, then we're not going to be effectively building muscle. And so like if you do 10 reps of a dumbbell row and then you finish it and you're like, I could have easily done 10 more, that's not an effective hard set for all intents and purposes. And I think the one caveat I would put in here is like, you don't need, like, especially if you're just starting out, you don't need to be getting to a point where you're like, I can barely lift this thing. And like, I'm going to tear my shoulder off because I'm afraid the more of a beginner you are, the further away you can be from failure and still build muscle, which is awesome. Right. Like and that's why in the beginning, like the idea of newbie gains is very, very real. Like the first 6 to 12 months of strength training, you can build a shit ton of muscle and lose body fat at the same time. As you continue training over the years, this becomes harder and harder to do. And you do have to get closer and closer to failure. There's less wiggle room. You have to be more precise. Like all that is true. But I think as people get started, like it's okay. Like you don't have to feel like your arm's going to fall off or your legs are going to buckle underneath you. Mm-hmm. I think it's just the intention, right? Of how do I make this set feel hard? And if it feels too easy, take the weight up. It doesn't do it responsibly. It doesn't have to be in a place where you feel unsafe or, anything like that, like with good form. But I think the vast majority of people are nowhere near this point, because a lot of times, like in Orange Theory or those classes, it's more about like trying to do as many reps as you can in like 30 seconds type of thing. And so like if your set is being cut off because of a time limit or because you get too tired, right? Like it's like you're doing 30 reps of this really light weight and you just get exhausted.
Yeah.
That's not challenging your muscle. That's challenging your cardiovascular system.
Yeah.
And so you have to bring the other stimulus in of where you are actually finishing the set because your muscle doesn't have much left in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Such an important point. And that's where it's like, yeah, technically, if you bring yourself close to failure in the muscle at 30 reps, you can be building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that.
It's hard. Dude, it sucks.
Like, you need a good aerobic base to even be able to do that, number one, to make sure that you still have your breath and your full body is not fatigued before whatever muscle you're working. But, like, I think this is an argument can be made that, like, sticking around that 5 to 10 rep range at the beginning can just really, it really can be eye-opening to see, like, oh, like, oh, that was like 6 tough reps. Mm-hmm. You can really start to feel what that's like. And, like, because, you get into the 12, 15, 18, 20, there's nothing wrong with that. And it is effective. It can just be harder to differentiate between, is this my muscle fatiguing or am I just, like, tired right now?
Yeah. Real quick, because I feel like this is the question that comes up the most every time someone starts is, what weight should I use?
Yeah.
And so there's many ways that you could do progressive overload and that you can progress over time. So there's not one right way, but the way we typically do it with clients that I think is the easiest, especially when you're getting started, to just kind of like mentally capture and think about, is it's called a double progression model. And all that means is that you're going to have a rep range. And so let's say you're doing, a chest press for 8 to 10 reps, right? And so you're going to take 2 20-pound dumbbells to start, like, and I'm making that number completely up. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. Just choose a weight. And you're going to try to do 8 to 10 reps. And if you get to the top of that, you get to 10 reps and you're like, yeah, I could still do way more. Take the weight up. That's it. And take it up to 2 25-pound dumbbells, and then try again. And once you get to a place where within that range, anywhere, 8 to 10, 8 reps, 9 reps, 10 reps, you get to a place where it's like, okay, I did it. I have a few left, but this is like getting hard. Cool. Mm-hmm. Write it down. How many reps did you do? Let's say you did 20 pounds for 8 reps. Then the next week you come back. All you're trying to do is just move up in that range, right? So I did 8 reps of 20 pounds last time. Can I do 9 reps? Can I do 10 reps? And over the course of a few weeks, if you can finally get to that top of the rep range, right? So 10 reps across all of it. Okay, now I take the weight up and I move up to 25 pounds and I start the whole thing over. Can I get back to 8 reps? And if you move it up and you're like, oh, I can only get 6 reps. Okay, that's fine. Record it. Yeah. Now try to get 7. Now try to get 8, right? Work your way back in there. And that's it. And you just literally do that over and over and over again until you die. And like, it's like, for real. It's that I think is like the simplest way to think about it, and just keep going over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where that gets addicting and very fun when you're like, because then you get to this sweet spot where, like, 1 rep more than last week on 1 or 2 or 3 of the sets for that movement, you really feel like that edge for yourself of like, okay, that was, I got it done, but it was tough. And you're in that sweet spot and it gets fun. So, yeah. Okay. On that note, this takes us to number 3, which we have a few different ways we can go with this. We're going to call it recovery, but number 1, it ties into what we just talked about, in that based on what we just told you, you can see where going in and trying to do 5 days a week, 6 days a week with, 10 to 15 different exercises in each workout, you're very quickly going to be just going through the motions, and that is not sustainable if you're actually pushing yourself close to failure in those movements. And this is one that so many of our clients are like, real, like I was talking to a client yesterday. He's 62, and I've got him on 3 workouts per week, 5-6 movements a workout, but he's pushing it, and he's pushing himself, and he's using the same workouts every week, and he's pushing the weight every week. And he was just with some friends, and he said that they were like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm lifting weights 3 days a week for like 45 minutes." Yeah. And so basically, I mean, there's a term out there called, like Herman mentioned, effective reps, right? That's what we're after. I don't care if you do 100 reps of a movement, but only your last set for the last 3 reps were actually really tough. I would rather have you do 2 to 3 sets of 5 to 15 reps, whatever it is, 8 to 10, but have each one of those sets end in a tough place for you. And so basically the idea here is just minimum effective dose. It takes less than you think. And when you try to push a ton, you end up going through the motions, not getting close to failure. If you do get close to failure, it's going to take, your workouts are going to take forever, because like to truly get, and we're going to get to that in a bit too, but to truly get close to failure, you need a lot of rest. And so that's another component. Then your joint, the amount of reps you're doing and wear and tear on joints and things like that is just going, your tendons are going to have more stress on them overall. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's a lot more factors, and you don't need that much, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. So recovery wise, first point is just, it takes less than you think, and crush 3 days a week. Like crush 3 days a week, crush 5 or 6 movements in a workout before you start trying to go 4, 5, 6 days a week, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 workouts or movements in a workout, because you have no idea when you really start pushing yourself how effective that can be. Your muscle does not grow during the set. Your muscle grows in response to the set afterwards.
Yeah. That last point is so important, because I think we, in American culture especially, like we have this idea that more is better.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, cool. Lifting weights builds muscle. Sweet. I want more muscle. I'm going to lift more weights. I'm going to work out more, and it's like, more isn't better in this case. More is just more. And it's so important to understand that you don't build muscle when you are lifting. You're tearing the muscle down. You're breaking it down. That literally, the reason why it needs to be built up is because you're doing that. Yeah. And when you build it up is outside the gym, when you're recovering, especially when you sleep. So, which is another big factor of recovery, right? It's like actually getting enough sleep and prioritizing that. Now there's a lot of nuance in this, right? Like, totally understand for new parents and people that's like, okay, well, but the only time I can work out is at 4 a.m. But that means I'm sacrificing an hour of sleep. And it's like, okay, you got to do, you got to do what's best for you. But I think the number of days is the biggest one here, that a lot of people just think like they want to start with 4 or 5 days. And I would say like 3-4 days. Like if you really want to do 4 days, cool. I think a good structured upper lower split will be fine for even people who are maybe just starting out. Like I would maybe push back if you're like, I've never lifted weights at all. I'm like, I don't think you need that at all. Yeah. I would say 3 days for the vast majority of people getting started with this is going to be plenty. I have some people doing 2 days, and it's great. And the people, like, I can count on like one hand the amount of clients I've had that have gone up to like 5 days a week. And I would argue that they don't have to do it. They just really, really enjoy doing it, and they want to be in the gym a lot.
And when that's the case, it's usually like, because I think there's a lot to be said for, you feel good when you work out. Like, you feel better for your day. when you work out, which is true for most people, you like the routine where it's like, no, I like to go in the mornings. And if I'm like sleeping in every other day, but then getting up earlier, like very real points. I would say if you were going to lean on 4 or 5 days a week just because you enjoy going, take the volume down in the workouts. So it's like if 3 days a week is around 45 minutes, 5 days a week could be 30 minutes. So it's like if you enjoy the repetition and going in, just don't be trying to push those workouts to 45, 60 plus minutes and just trim them down a little bit and spread it out more. And I think this, go ahead.
You know what I would say?
What?
And this might be controversial to all the muscle bros out there. I would say, why don't we do 3 or 4 days, and why don't we use that extra time to do cardio instead?
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
And because I think it's like very easy, and I fell into this trap of like, you don't just lift weights and walk, but cardio is not going to ruin your gains. It's not going to destroy the muscle building process, and it's going to give you, for the vast majority of people listening to this, like, I don't think their goals are to look like bodybuilders. I think their goals are to build a fit body and a healthy life. And part of that to me is like, okay, so let's get enough stimulus on your muscles, which 3 days is absolutely going to do for the vast majority of people listening. And let's use the rest of that time in the gym, if you really want to be there more, to get all the other health benefits we can get from exercise. And you're not going to get the same health benefits from lifting that you do from cardio. So like, to me, having a little bit of balance of both is important.
Great point. Fantastic point. And guess what building that aerobic base does for point number 2, where we want the stimulus to be in the muscle and not your cardiovascular system. You have a better, you have an improved aerobic capacity. That means you can handle higher reps aerobically to actually fatigue the muscle. It also improves your recovery in general. You know, cardio
which actually goes into point number 4.
Yeah. And I do have like one thing to throw out before we move to that. Number 3, I think we should clarify. So this is one that shocks clients, because when clients are in those modes where it's like new baby or just crazy work, it can be very easy to feel like if you can't be spending an hour, 2 hours in the gym across the week, that it's not worth doing. Herman, how many, if I've got, I want to address 2 things here. How much it actually takes compared to nothing to build or maintain muscle. And number 2, the conversation of adding the cardio in, kind of like where that sweet spot is. Like if I only have 2 days a week, me personally, I'm going to use both of those for lifting. And I might, this gets into another conversation, but I may even kind of try to work in a little bit of cardio into that. That can be maybe another podcast. But if it's 2 days a week or maybe even 3 days a week, I might be just saying, hey, let's just get the weights done. But that, and then when it's 3, 4, definitely 5, that's where it's like adding that in. So question 1, how much does it actually take compared to doing nothing to build some muscle mass, especially at the beginning?
Yeah. So, I mean, based on the research that I have seen and have understood, so it really as little as like 4, 5, 6 sets per muscle group per week, like will get you to a place where you're building some muscle. I would say if you're getting to like an optimal place, for people who are just starting out, 6 to 9 sets per week is probably a pretty like good sweet spot. And then, 9 to 12 sets is going to be like hey, we're building muscle at a great speed for the vast majority of people. And then getting above that's like over time, you'll probably need more than 12 sets for like optimal muscle growth. But I think like that to me, again, is like that it's conflating the idea of like optimal versus just moving forward and building muscle. And for the vast majority of people, if you're getting 2 days in, 3 sets per muscle group, you're going to be, you are building muscle. Like, is it going to be faster if you do 3 days and 9 sets? Yes. The question is how much faster, right? Because muscle isn't that fast in general. And so if it's more practical and you're going to be more consistent with doing 2 days per week, awesome. And then I think and then from a maintaining, it's even less. To maintain your muscle, you literally need 2 to 3 hard sets per week per muscle group. That's one workout, one full body workout. And so when people are like, oh, but I already missed my workouts this week, and like, maybe I'll just skip it. It's like, if you literally get one full body workout this week, you're just staying steady. You're exactly where you are. And from a set perspective, what's super cool is that there's actually there's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to your sets. So the first set of each cycle, I can't remember the numbers, but you're getting the vast majority of the benefits from that set. Like somewhere between like 40 and 60% of the benefits from that set. Then it diminishes down, and you'll get the next like 50 to 80% of your benefits from the second set. And then you're squeezing out the last like 10 to 20% of the impact from that third set. So it's like, even if you're like, I only have time to do 2 sets of each exercise, awesome. You're still going to be getting the vast majority of it.
Dude, legit, I think and when you're doing like, if you have less time, that is all the more reason to really pay attention to the intensity and getting close to failure. Like, you get more bang for your buck that way. And so it's like, truthfully, someone who's like newer or hasn't been in it for a while, and this is not based on a specific study, I think if we took 20 minutes twice a week and hit one set of a chest, a back, a leg movement, a shoulder movement, like 4 or 5 exercises, one hard set, like actually getting really close to that failure point, I think you could gain a decent amount of muscle at the beginning of your journey. Of course, like over time you're going to need, but compared to doing nothing, and especially if the alternative is it's not worth it, 20 minutes twice a week is literally so much better than nothing at all.
Yep.
Okay. So that led us into our fourth one, which is the rest between sets. So you just alluded to this. Cardio capacity is going to improve your ability to recover between sets. Be there, like reduce that systemic fatigue, full body fatigue of a workout. And this is also going to play, man, we got these things in order really well, because it's also going to play into number 5 here. But rest between sets. How much should you rest between sets to get muscle growth?
This is, so there's so many philosophies around this, and I think there's general rules, for like, okay, if we're going super heavy reps, like we probably want at least 2 to 4 minutes of rest between set. If we're going like hypertrophy reps, like 8 to 12, like we want at least 60 to 120 seconds, to me, it's like, you want enough rest between sets that your cardiovascular is not impacting the set. Like that's what it really comes down to, is that when you do the set, if you're coming back into the second set, even if the timer's already gone off, even if it's like, oh, I rested for 90 seconds and now I have to do a second set, but you're like still standing there like huffing and puffing, wait.
Keep resting. Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to be that next set's going to be limited because you're tired. Not because of your muscle, but because you're physically tired. So like I would say general rule of thumb, like I usually have people resting at least 1 to 2 minutes minimum across most exercises. And I think there's ways that you can do this to if you're like, oh, but I don't have that much time in the gym, you could use supersets where you do one muscle and then you rest for 45 seconds, 60 seconds, and then you do a different muscle. So you're not hammering the same muscle group, like you would do, let's say a chest press, and then you could do a dumbbell row, and you combine and you go back and forth between those every 45, 60 seconds, or you could do like 30 seconds and then do the row and then wait, and now you rest like 90 seconds. So there's strategies which again goes back to the having a good structure, right? And it's also why I think doing a structure on your own before, like without understanding all this, is super hard, because I think there's so many intricacies and nuances that a good program or a good coach is going to help you figure out. But yeah, that would be my general rule of thumb, is like just really probably at least 1 to 2 minutes between sets, and get to a place where you feel like, you know, your heart rate is back to a relatively controlled state. Doesn't have to be exactly back to resting, but it's just not, you're not going to be huffing and puffing and getting impacted by that.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I agree. And it's like, we'll kind of wrap this up at the end, but it's like a lot of these things, if you have a structured program and you're getting at least a minute of rest, you're getting your breath back, a lot of these things have some wiggle room, right? Because if we standardize it to 60 seconds, it's not like you're not going to build muscle if you're like really huffing and puffing, but like it's just a shift, because a lot of people are like, I just don't, they're used to gauging the effectiveness of their workout based on how defeated and out of breath and how much they're sweating. And it's like, this is a totally different ballgame.
Yes.
It is not, you can build effective muscle without sweating much at all. You can build effective muscle without breathing very heavy at all. Naturally, you're going to with like some movements, but
that's a great point, because like, do not look at your watch at the end of this workout and be like, oh my God, I only burned 200 calories.
Yep.
That does not matter at all. Throw that out. It has zero impact on the impact of your overall strength workout. This is not about going as fast and getting as many, don't be trying to squeeze in burpees and mountain climbers in between your sets, because you're like, I'm not doing anything. The rest is part of the program. It's incredibly, incredibly important.
Yeah. We're doing this to build muscle, not to burn calories, which the cool part is, as you build muscle, it will slightly increase your calorie burn every single day while you sleep, which is the coolest part. So don't think of your time in the gym as for calorie burn. You will burn some calories, but that's not what we're in there for. We're either in there to build muscle or to build aerobic capacity or to enjoy ourselves and have fun, So, because the thing is, you can get on a treadmill and run for an hour and run and burn like 600 calories. I can put down 600 calories in a Dairy Queen Blizzard in about 4 minutes. So like the levers, and that's not to say the calorie burn from movement and exercise doesn't help with fat loss, but like thinking about it from calories, it doesn't move the needle super well.
It's not nearly the best benefit.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, exactly. So, okay.
Real quick on the rest and recovery, because both those things, in between sets and days in between, I would say like that's a really good indicator that if you're like, but I don't need this much rest. Like I feel like I've had people like clients in the past like, I don't know, because I've been doing like boot camp classes, and like I think I just recover really quickly, and it's like they're like, oh, I think I only need 30 seconds in between sets, or like, no, I think I can go 5 days a week. And I would say right now, if you think that and you have never followed a consistent strength training plan for months and months on end, you're not lifting heavy enough. Like that's just the reality. So if you feel like why are they trying to make me rest for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? If you're like 30 seconds out after the set, you're like, I'm good to go. What's next?
Yeah.
Increase the weight. You can go heavier.
Yes. And like you said, different for every person. Like this is nuance that coaching comes into, but a good heuristic for people listening, minimum 60 to 90 seconds for accessories, 2 to 3 minutes minimum for compound movements. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Number 5, you're avoiding compound movements. And this actually based on what you just said. So a compound movement is a multi-joint exercise, basically. So the most classic ones for weightlifting would be a squat, a deadlift, a row, a press, compared to like an accessory, which would be like a bicep curl, a lateral raise. Basically, you're using multiple muscle groups in a compound movement. And that is, well, one, it's just going to hit more muscle groups. But especially at the beginning, it just provides more bang for your buck. So, like a squat is literally going to hit your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. And depending how you set it up, it can bias more than the others. But compare that to a leg extension machine that only hits your quads. So if you're short on time, and they both have their place, but at the beginning, you can really, it's a lot easier to place a high load on, or a high demand on your muscles with a compound movement. And you just don't need to be spending as much time like across all these accessories when you can get such a great stimulus from hitting everything at once. But on that note, on the resting conversation, like those people that are out there that are like, no, I'm good, like I'm in really good shape, go take like a squat to a 1 to 2 reps shy of failure and tell me you're ready to go in 2 minutes after. Like truly. Yeah. Or, I mean, for me, like a hack squat machine, and that's the machine where it's like a sled where your back is on a pad and you're squatting. If I take that to like true 1 rep short of failure, I need like 6 minutes of rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, dude, it wrecks me. Or a Bulgarian split squat. Oh my God.
Any kind of split squat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the systemic fatigue that like it rocks you.
Which and that's, I think actually that's a really good point that you brought up, that compound movements doesn't mean that you need to be doing like barbell squats or like dead, like those are great movements, but machines like leg presses, a chest press machine, like those are, I think for beginners too, those are great to actually learn what failure feels like.
Yes, safely.
Right? Without feeling unsafe, like you're going to like break something. Like take a chest press machine like to failure and see what that actually feels like to not be able to do another rep, right?
Dude, I love machines. And like a lot of people, you know, functional movement, whatever. No, like if we're building muscle, machines have their place, and it doesn't have to be just for accessories. Because the truth is, like, especially for barbell movements or something like that, a barbell back squat, like it's going to be tough to get like the target muscle as your fatiguing point. It's not that it can't be done, and I think it's a great place to be, but like if our goal is getting comfortable in the gym, getting comfortable pushing ourselves, even like a dumbbell goblet squat, or like you said, a leg press, a hack squat, like those things, like there's nothing like a machine to really push yourself and feel like, you know, if I can't get this up, it just goes right back. It doesn't, I don't fall and have to bail on the weight or anything like that. I love machines.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and here's the thing. If you go in and you do only accessories, you go do a leg extension, a leg curl, a bicep curl, a tricep extension, a chest fly, a lateral raise, you'll still build muscle. It's just like at the beginning, use a mix of both. So like typically I would use them as your main lift to start the day, like 1, 2, maybe 3 compound movements. And then after that, utilize some accessory work to cap it off. But like at the beginning, you know, especially if you're short on time, I have clients that I'm not doing really any isolation accessory movements because they're short on time and they're not to the point that they need it yet. So we're just hitting like a press, a row, a squat, a hinge, and we're hitting all our muscle groups, and we just quite frankly don't need to isolate anything yet.
I mean, dude, right there, like if you literally do some form of squat or lunge, some form of deadlift, whether that's a conventional deadlift or a Romanian deadlift, if you do some form of a row or like a pull down, and then you do some form of a chest shoulder press. You could even do an incline press to hit both.
Right.
You do literally just those. You will, like, if you do nothing else but those, you'll build a very toned overall body.
Yeah. Amen. Love it. Okay. Number 6, you got to control the weight. And this goes into like intensity and getting close to failure. Failure is not like get the rep done by any means possible. It's consistent, controlled form. And tempo, we're starting to see once again, like if you're controlling it, don't like this week I'm doing 4 seconds on the way down and next week I'm doing 2 or 1. Just control the weight through the full range of motion. And alongside that, you should generally be feeling the muscle you're working. You know, if we're doing a chest press, we want to feel our chest. So full range of motion, control the weight through the whole thing. Don't be dropping it and letting it fall on you. Just good consistent control through the entire rep, and you're going to be in a good place, whether it's a 3-second eccentric or 1.
Yeah, form in general, I think it's like, look at strength training the same way you would look at golf, like a golf swing, right? Look at it like a martial art, right? Like there's a ton of movements. There's a ton of little details, cues, things to learn to improve. And I think focusing on getting better at the movement itself is a great way to progress over time. Like I think that's going to lead to progression more than pretty much anything else over time. It's also going to keep you more injury free. And I want that to also come in combination that it doesn't need to be perfect form. Like don't feel like you're going to like break your back if it's not perfect form. Like some people will show online, but I think it's just constantly looking at like, how can I make my deadlift a little bit better? You know, how can I improve my squat form? It didn't feel great last time. Like what can I change? And I think as long as you're kind of like keeping a focus on that and like not like, don't be at a place where like you're struggling and wiggling your entire body just to get this weight back up, which I think like, let's be honest, that's mostly a problem for men usually, you know,
sure.
like I think it's typically what I have seen with female clients is like, they are stronger than they actually think. And they could probably usually be going heavier, and it's the opposite for men. They're always complaining about shoulder pain and like, you know, and I'm guilty of that too. Like, but I think if you were to just back it off, sometimes if you're like, I just don't really feel great about my form for this exercise, there's nothing wrong with taking the weight down for a couple of weeks and just like practicing it, like practice the movement.
Yeah. Well said. Okay. Number 7. And I got a hard stop in 10 minutes, by the way.
Cool.
Okay, so number 7, we could talk about this for an hour, but just nutrition. So number 1 on the nutrition side, get enough protein. Protein on the nutrition side is the equivalent of strength training on the exercise side as when it comes to muscle mass. Protein makes up your muscle mass. And so 0.7 grams per pound of your ultimate goal body weight is totally fine. And that's going to be a good place to be. And so that's number 1. And that doesn't change whether you're gaining weight, losing weight, or maintaining weight. You generally want to be there to support body composition change and muscle gain. And
what about the people who say 1 gram per pound?
Well, who are we talking to? If you're if you're a bodybuilder, I mean, maybe, like it's once again, it comes back to number 1, we don't have a ton of research on those bro numbers of like 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So there are analyses that take a shit ton of data from a ton of studies, and time again, we see that your benefits top out at around 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. And if you are willing to, if you're trying to step on a bodybuilding stage and you want an extra tiny little bit, that may be 0, but might be a tiny bit extra. Knock yourself out and frickin' eat 250 grams of protein. But if you just want to get 99.9% of the benefits of your protein intake without hating your life every day, go with 0.7.
Yeah. It's the same as like the set conversation, like the last little bit, like, if you want to squeeze it out, you want to maximize muscle, go for it, but you don't need to. And honestly, from talking with many coaches, a big reason why people will say 1 pound per gram is because they're like, people don't hit it. Like it's easy to remember and people don't hit it. So then if they fall short, then they'll get 0.7 anyways.
That's
you
true.
know, so it's like, okay, so, but ultimately it's the same goal is to get them above 0.7. So like, if you know, hey, like, I keep aiming for 0.7, I keep falling short. Okay. Take your goal up and knowing that you fall short, you might actually hit the 0.7, but no, like you don't need to hit 1 pound per gram for any reason.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So that's number one. That doesn't change regardless of what you're doing. Number two, calorie management. So like we said at the beginning, you can be building a significant amount of muscle, but if you have body fat on top of it, you may not be realizing it. So there's two sides. One, if you're trying to restrict like crazy nonstop, you're not going to be giving yourself enough energy to be consistent and fuel yourself and feel your best to be hitting the gym and hitting everything we've talked about up until this point. The progressive overload, like the strength, those things, super important. So you got to be eating enough, but you also don't want to be eating too much either. So cool part is you can actually build muscle while you lose some body fat. And so what I would say is if you ultimately want to be at a lower body weight, do a very small deficit, 5%, maybe 10% tops from your maintenance calories, which you can estimate online, keep your protein up and do that consistently. And if you're struggling to manage calories here, just eat at maintenance and you will body recomp, build some muscle and lose some fat at the same time. And then later on, when you're in a place to manage calories and bring the scale down a little bit, you're going to see this muscle pay off. So, I'll stop there.
I would honestly say like, unless you have blood, you've gotten blood markers that high cholesterol, high A1C, like things that you're like, my doctor's like, my doctor's going to put me on meds if I don't get my weight down in the next 6 months, like, and if you're like, I want to lose the last 10 pounds, I want to lose the last 15, maybe even 20, like I would honestly challenge you to just eat at maintenance and lift heavy for the next 6 months and then make a decision. Because you're going to see your body change pretty significantly. And then I think in many people who say they want to lose 10 pounds, by that point are like, I think I'm good. Like, I don't know if I need to go into a deficit.
And the cool part about that is the longer you do that, the lower your body fat percentage comes because you're building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Your maintenance calories are going up ever so slightly over time. And so it's like, there's no harm in waiting.
Yeah.
Because you might end up just being good. Go ahead.
If you are going to eat in a deficit, because you're like, I do need to lose body fat, everything we still said is still important because then at least you're not going to be losing muscle. You can, even in a deficit, even if you're not building a significant amount of muscle, you can still maintain most of your muscle. Like we have clients who are on GLP-1 and losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. Yet over the last 8 months, their muscle mass hasn't really changed. So they've literally just been dropping a body fat percentage because they're lifting.
And that's 1 to 2 pounds lost per week. Like unless you're an intermediate or advanced lifter, which I don't know how many like truly, truly advanced lifters we have listening to this podcast, but unless you're an intermediate or advanced lifter, like you can be building muscle while you lose weight. Mm-hmm. If you're losing 0.5 pound a week, 1 pound a week, if you push and do everything we've talked about here, you can absolutely build muscle. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you are more than 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds overweight, which blood work is so important, we've got to bring the body fat down, and we don't have to choose. We can do both at once, like we just covered. But yeah, on the blood work side, that HbA1c is going to be a great indicator. First and foremost, triglycerides. ApoB is a great marker if you can get it. That's like a better signal than just regular cholesterol numbers. So ApoB, HbA1c, and triglycerides, those are all going to be great indicators of like energy balance and if your body fat is contributing to a not great direction as far as your health goes over time. All right, so that's the nutrition side, and of
then,
course, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that actually leads right into point number 8.
Yeah.
Because
Damn, this was perfect.
right? Because if we are focused on body recomposition and the scale might not be moving that much, that's okay. And so we do want a way to be able to measure, are we actually making progress? And so you could do, I mean, like, look, you can go get an in-body scan, you can go get a DEXA scan, like you can measure your, you can measure ways to see if your body fat percentage is improving. If you want to do that, awesome, go ahead. Do not use a smart scale because those are unbelievably notoriously wrong at measuring body fat percentage. But I think in-body DEXA, totally fine. That all being said, you don't need to do that. At the end of the day, if you're getting stronger in the gym, meaning you're over time, you're increasing the amount of reps, the amount of weight you're using. If you are noticing your clothes are fitting better, right? You're noticing your pants are getting a little bit looser. Your waist size is shrinking, which, by the way, all this can happen without the scale moving at all.
100%.
And if those things are happening in combination, you are building muscle, you are losing body fat.
Yeah. And like energy levels or how you feel, if you're enjoying yourself, like even if the progress isn't crazy on body measurements or your clothes fitting, if you're in there and staying consistent with this stuff and your weight's stable, it's a long-term game. We want to be doing this for 30 years, 30 years, 50 years, however, so there's no rush here. And so that's a huge one, because it can be hard to detach from the scale, right? So, number 9.
That you literally just went into it with that last sentence too.
Yeah. It takes time. If we're looking back and we nail a week and look back and are expecting to look completely different in the gym, this takes time and we need patience. So this is where, based on number 8, lock in on those numbers. Really embrace like, ooh, I'm trying to get 9 reps instead of 8 this week, and just keep your head down on that, and the results will come. And like we just said, if you're enjoying the process, that time is going to fly. We're doing it to enjoy ourselves instead of for this external goal. I heard a great point on somewhere recently that weight training is the only thing that you can preview your results in the future right now from the pump you get. Like, because you work out, blood goes into your muscles, they get bigger literally from blood flow during that workout, and you're like, damn, like this feels good. That's, if you keep with it, that's what muscle growth will be like, months from now, which is cool. A crazy interesting concept that you do kind of get. Maybe if we had an editor, I'd be like, throw in Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about how the pump is like an orgasm for him. That clip is so funny. But anyways, just in it for the long haul. Yes. I don't care about anything we just talked about. If you can't be consistent, I would rather have you go hit a group class that isn't optimal than do nothing at all. So it's that balance. But if you're really frustrated with the results from something like that, like, something is better than nothing is what I'm trying to say, because this takes time and we have to stay in it for the long haul.
Yeah, you can't think in days or even weeks. Like this is give yourself minimum 3 to 6 months. Like minimum. And the reality is for most people, like to get to a place where you're like, I'm pretty good. Like I if I keep building muscle, that's gonna be awesome. But I'm also like I feel good like 2 years, realistically.
Right.
And if you really put in that work for that time and like continue growing, like you're gonna be in such a great place where you just don't necessarily care as much about the scale. And you have more freedom to enjoy some meals out and you know, have some extra calories and not worry about the scale coming up a couple pounds every time you go on a trip. Like it's just going to give you so much freedom that is so incredibly important. So like, don't obsess over, oh my God, the scale's not coming down. And on a day-to-day basis, I've been lifting for 10 days. Like my body doesn't look any different, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, honestly, even after 6 months, you looking in the mirror, you probably won't realistically see anything that different because you see yourself day to day.
Right.
And the vast majority of clients are like, I don't know, am I making progress? And they take pictures every month, which like I know it's everyone's least favorite thing, but they're so important because when you look at them after 6 months, you're like, every single client's like, oh shit. Like, yeah, I do look like I didn't even really notice that. Or my favorite one is they'll give the story of I was out at the gym or I went out to lunch with a friend that I haven't seen in like 4 months. And they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't even really notice that, you know? And so like, be patient. Don't get neurotic that like on a day-to-day basis, you're like, oh my God, I don't look any different. It will work. Like if you follow this process and you consistently do it, even if you do it 60% some weeks, 80% some weeks, you will progress. There's no doubt about that.
Dude, my favorite, I've gotten this like maybe twice from clients where they're in a gym that has like funky mirrors where like there's two and they see themselves and they think it's somebody else and they view that person from a truly objective view and they're like, that's a fit person. And then they're like, what the fuck? That's me. Yeah. And I'm like, that is like the coolest thing. Another thing I want to throw out too is like, if you're brand new to this, or you've been away from it for a while, like, yes, this is a long game. It takes time. Give yourself 3, 6 months plus a couple years. If you're brand new, even if you ate at maintenance, it is not unreasonable for you to basically trade, if your scale didn't move, 5 to 10 pounds of fat mass, like to lose 5 to 10 pounds of fat and gain 5 to 10 pounds of lean mass in 6 months. Like that's not unreasonable at all. If you're new to this and you do it the right way, that has a tremendous impact on your body composition and how you look. So like it's a fine line because you don't want to get too tied to those newbie gains because they're so real and they're so strong and so drastic. But like, don't get discouraged on like, you absolutely can see tremendous changes. Bottom line here, like we just kind of covered everything. Keep it structured and push yourself. If you do those two things, things tend to kind of take care of themselves. As far as like the cool part about pushing yourself and paying attention to training close to failure is that it kind of auto-regulates for how you're doing each week. So instead of like getting too tied to a specific rep number, it's like if you're down this week, go push yourself. And maybe this week, close to failure is 6 reps. And then next week, it's back up to 8 or 9, you know? And if you're doing the things we talked about, go ahead.
I was just to your last point real quick. I just did the math. If someone is 150 pounds and they're 30% body fat and they trade out 10 pounds of body fat for muscle, it would drop them to 23% body fat.
Dude, that's incredible.
Like
that's
a legitimate transformation. Yeah, without changing your weight.
That's over a quarter of a change in your body. Like
Massive
That's 25%
transformation.
change in body fat percentage.
Yep. Yeah.
That's
you
wild.
give 1 year and you can, if you do that, that's
Huge.
completely different person.
Yeah. Yeah. And even 40 to 30 would be insane too. If you're higher number. But if you're 40, you're also going to you're probably going to lose well, that's another conversation, but you could lose 20 to 30 pounds of fat and add 10 pounds of muscle. And that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad you did that math. One thing, splits, push-pull legs, upper, lower, full body splits, days per week, these types of things. If you're pushing yourself and no matter how you distribute your exercises across the week, what's most important is the total amount of sets you're doing for those muscle groups and progressing it. So that's one thing that people come in, they're like, well, should I be doing an upper low? Do what you enjoy. That's going to allow you to keep it structured and push yourself, and it's not really going to matter that much if you're doing the things we talked about
episode
here.
on splits and
Yeah, we should.
Breaking down each one.
Yeah, for sure. And then one last thing. If you miss a day, don't skip that day. Just do it the first day up the next week. So if you got 2 of your 3 workouts done this week, just go to the first next week, and then go back. Just don't look at the calendar.
Keep
just
going.
Cycle through your plan.
Yeah.
Anything else to add before I plug a product?
I think just what you just said is so important. Like, we covered a lot of points today, which can feel like, okay, I got to do all these things. But if you're just starting out, the room for error is incredible. You could do everything wrong and you would still build muscle. If you literally go back and listen to this episode and do points 1 and 2, if you just those two, if you do those two over and over and over again, you will very likely see body recomposition. Everything else will help you continue advancing, but don't let, again, like, perfection stop you from making progress here. Just get started, just record how much you're lifting, and just try to do a little bit more each week.
Love it. Yep. Amen. 2 options for you. If you're brand new and just want a 2-day full body split, super basic, home or gym, that's free. Just DM me Tone on Instagram. I'll post a link to DM me for that. If you want a little bit more than that, we actually just came up with a new one that has a beginner track, an intermediate track, and an advanced track, 3, 4, or 5 days, or 3 or 4 days, I'm sorry. Both home and gym for $10. So total, you could run that beginner one. The beginner one is also in the $10 one, but either way, you can run any of those as long as you keep progressing. That's another thing we didn't touch on. If you're progressing, you don't have to change plans. Like, you can run the same plan until you stop progressing. That can be months on end. But anyways, you could run the beginner one, then the intermediate one. Like, there's quite a bit of programming in there. And it also gives you a little taste of how we program for our clients. So both are below $10 or free, 30-day or forever guarantee. If you get it and you don't want it, we'll refund your money. So check those out. Anything else, Herman?
No. Happy lifting.
Happy lifting. Literally the most important thing ever for a fitness journey, if you can't tell, beyond anything else. All right. Peace out.